So, do you remember the simple past, irregular verbs? So let's have some examples, and next you're going to give me the verbs that you see in the sentences. Let's see the verbs. So first sentence, I was home last night. Second, were you at school yesterday? Third, we had a party. Fourth, you left early. Fifth, they broke the window. Last one, she went to the cinema. Try to take a paper and write down those verbs in red. So let's see the first two, was and were. Can you guess the infinitive of this verb? I know you know it because you've already seen it. Was and were. This is the simple past of which verb? Can you give me the answer? Okay, so let's see. So was, were, this is the verb to be. Let's move to the next one, were. The verb were, it's simple past form of the verb to be. Third one, had. Which verb is this? Verb had in simple past, which is the infinitive of which verb? This is again easy, you already seen this. So let's see the answer. Had, this is the infinitive is to have. Now we move to the next verb, left. Can you guess the infinitive of this verb? Can you guess? Do you know it? So this is an irregular verb and its infinitive is left, to leave. And the next one, they broke the window. Broke, can you guess the infinitive of broke? Yes, good. Broke, to break. Last one, she went to the cinema. Can you guess the infinitive of went? Good job again. Went, its infinitive is to go. Look at the verb number 3 on your right, did. Do you remember the verb did? It's the infinitive of the verb to do. It's not included in the examples because you already know it, but I think you have to remember it because we're going to use it in our practice. So let's move to our revision. So let's have a look at some irregular verbs. So this is study time. So please, you guys, you have to memorize these charts. At least these verbs. There are others, but you need at least to memorize these. So first chart, we have the infinitive and the simple past. So the infinitive of go, its simple past is went. And then you have the verb to leave. The simple past is left, become, became, sleep, slept, fall, fell. So you have to memorize the simple past of these verbs. Here, go, we don't add ed. Leave, we don't add ed or ied. No, it changes. So you have to memorize the simple past of these verbs. Let's move to the next chart. Other group of verbs. They are called irregular verbs. So the verb begin, its simple past is begun, lose, lost, see, saw, spread, spread, take, took. So you have to study these verbs. Take your time, pause the video, write them down if you like, because we're going to use them in our practice. I will give you your time to write them down or pause the video. Okay, if you have finished, let's move to the next part. So here is your review part. You have to remember the forms that we have seen in simple past lesson. So the rules, you have to remember them or go back to the other videos if you haven't memorized them yet. So Remember, we have three forms: affirmative form, negative form, and interrogative form. So today we're going to work with one example, which is she to see the moon last night. Look, to see is an irregular verb, so we are not going to add ed at the end. So for the affirmative form, we're going to use the simple past that we have in the charts. Go back to the charts if you want. So to see, its simple past is saw. So she saw the moon last night. Remember, you don't add ed or d or nothing. You don't add that. So you have to memorize them. To see, the simple past is saw. So in the affirmative form, she saw the moon last night. Remember the negative form? It stays the same. What did we use in negative form in simple past? We used the verb that you had in the first part of the video, the verb to do. What is the negative of the verb to do in simple past? Yes, didn't. So, she didn't see. Now, see stays in the infinitive because we already have an auxiliary, didn't, so you don't change anything. You go back to the same rule. She didn't see. It's not she didn't saw. She didn't saw is wrong. She didn't see the moon last night. For the interrogative form, again, we use the verb to do in the simple past, did. Where do we put it? Do you remember? I know you remember. Yes, we put it at the beginning of the sentence, did. And in the subject, she. And in the verb, see. Did she see the moon last night? Remember, when we use auxiliaries like didn't and did, we don't change the verb. The verb stays in the infinitive form. She didn't see. Did she see? So now we will go and practice these elements. So now let's practice. Your first exercise, you have to put the verbs between brackets into the simple past. So you have verbs leave, bring, and sleep between brackets. Give me the simple past form. So first sentence is what? Affirmative or negative or interrogative? First sentence. Which form do you have? Yes, you have affirmative form. So I leave, you have to go back to the chart if you like and give me the simple past form of leave. Yes, good. You got it. I left. The simple past of leave is the verb left. I left my friend at the gym. So now I'll give you some times to do number 2 and number 3. Again, pause the video if you like and go back to the chart. Go back to the rules. Remember, in negative, interrogative form, you don't need the chart. You just need the rules. Can you get it now? Can I see your answers? Okay. So let's see the answer of number 2. The student didn't bring the book. The students didn't bring the book. So let's see your answer for number 3. Good. Did you sleep at home last night? This is a question, interrogative form. So now let's move to exercise number 2. Exercise number 2, you have to rewrite. You have to rewrite these words to make sentences using simple past. So you have words she, to go, home, alone. So use the simple past. Okay, can you get the simple past of the first one? She, to go, you have home, alone. This is a sentence. Make sentences using simple past. What's the simple past of to go? Yes, good. She went home alone. Next one. Children not to take their breakfast. Okay, let's see if you get the answer. Did you get the answer? Yes, good job. Children didn't take their breakfast. Okay, let's go to number 3, sorry. They bring the toys to school. And you have interrogative form. Okay, I'm waiting. What do you use to make interrogative forms? What do you use the verb to do? In simple past, which is did, and in the subject, and in plus verb, do you remember? So let's hear your answers. Good. Did they bring the toys to school? Next sentence, we have words. Between brackets, you have the verb. You to be at the mall last night. This is a sentence. Can we rewrite it into simple past? Again, you have same form, interrogative. What did you use in the first one? You used did, and in the subject and in the verb. Good. Were you at the mall last night? Last sentence, you have the verb to be, so we inverse the subject and the verb. Here we don't use the verb did. So now, this is the end of